Now, it is already November 3rd of 2024, and I know it's crazy how fast time flies by, but we know that 2025 is just around the corner. It is going to be a very crucial year for Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, and many of their divisions, many of their different programs, by the way, like ABC that controls TV shows like The View, Good Morning America, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and among others out there. But focusing here on Whoopi Goldberg, there's been a lot of drama going on behind the scenes between herself and the Walt Disney Company, and exactly why this is all taking place has a lot more to do with shocking elements than we would have ever believed to actually have occurred. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, Whoopi Goldberg, I've said this countless times, but she definitely does not deserve to be on live television, let alone to be a talk show host to begin with. She has a terrible track record with being a talk show host, especially after all the years of being on The View. Now, we know that in recent weeks she was indeed fired from DreamWorks. We talked about this, about all of the Shrek projects that she was supposed to be involved in, including Shrek 5 and the Donkey spin-off film, as well as a new untitled film connected to the revival of the Shrek franchise. Now, focusing on Whoopi Goldberg here, there's been a lot of issues going on in recent days between herself, Bob Iger, the Disney executives, and more. Now, specifically, we already know that those out there like Goldberg and Joy Behar have created unnecessary issues behind closed doors over at ABC, over at the Disney Company. Is it really all that big of a surprise? Not really at all, especially coming from how they talk on television. But what's interesting here has a lot more to do with how many studios within the film industry are beginning to fail one after the other, including the Walt Disney Company, and among others doubling down on DEI as the main factor as to why they are struggling. Now, one major development now involves more to do with Whoopi Goldberg of The View and what has been going on at ABC. Now, just recently in the wake of the ABC ratings disaster and Whoopi Goldberg getting fired from DreamWorks, like I said before, with the upcoming Shrek projects, a crucial update now involves how Disney CEO Bob Iger and the rest of the executives made a final call, a decision if you will, to cancel out Whoopi Goldberg's pay raise for The View as a talk show host in 2025. Now, initially the plan was that for 2025, Goldberg's contract at ABC was going to be revised, where she was going to gain an extra $7 million a year, as it turns out, compared to what she is getting now, which stands at around $7.5 to $8 million in the last months of 2024. Goldberg officially and recently lost out on the $7 million increase after creating multiple conflicts behind the scenes at ABC, which we will get to now. It turns out one of those conflicts had to do with Whoopi Goldberg creating issues with Disney CEO Bob Iger behind the scenes, where she played the race card after they took, of course, and dropped her from Toy Story 5 as a character called Stretch, the octopus, who was going to be one of their main characters in the 2026 film, who appeared in a previous Toy Story movie briefly. Now, Joy Behar was also going to be part of Toy Story 5, as it holds the largest cast ever under the Disney Company. Now, the back and forth arguments that sparked between Goldberg getting fired from Toy Story 5 and removed from the project are ultimately what led to Iger calling off her pay increase, and this in turn created more conflicts behind the scenes. Shockingly, Goldberg was supposed to have a narration role for National Geographic on Disney Plus for a brand new special on the streaming platform about the Earth and oceans. Now, this offer was going to provide Goldberg an estimated $2 million extra. They also booted her from this project as well. It turns out that Disney removed her from the National Geographic project since she was demanding to get double the amount for her payout on this voiceover gig for Disney Plus. This all comes in the wake of the View ratings disaster behind the scenes, where Goldberg reportedly got offended after Disney and ABC executives put blame on Goldberg's comments, some of which were unplanned and even too over the top for Disney to accept, that they used as a scapegoat behind the scenes as to why the ABC ratings had been falling week by week, when in reality it all has to do with the events that took place in September that backfired on ABC. Now, guys, before I move on, let me just say one thing about Whoopi Goldberg and the Disney Company. Now, ABC is by far one of the worst programs on live television. and just on television in general. This is why I think a lot of people are beginning to shift away from the legacy media and focusing more on things like Twitter, etc., where they can really just kind of, get their own thoughts out there and really see exactly what's going on and what's really actually happening. But Whoopi Goldberg, we know that those like her, Joy Behar, Sunny, and among others on that show, and others associated with the Disney company, are nothing more than talking heads about the Disney agenda. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Now, not only did she lose out on that role for Toy Story 5, connected to Disney Pixar, we talked about that briefly about 3 weeks ago, but now she also lost a project associated with National Geographic on Disney+. She was supposed to have this big narration role that was supposed to be about an hour-and-a-half long special, and even she lost out on that because she wanted double the amount. It really just mind boggles me because these people like Whoopi Goldberg, their net worth is so insane. Why are you complaining about $2 million to really kind of make a deal for a project at this point that should just be done through pure passion? Because if you have all the money in the world, who really cares anymore about what projects you're associated in, right? You should really invest yourself in doing this for passion and for what you believe in. But that's not the case seemingly with Whoopi Goldberg. It's all about power, and it's all about being overly demanding, and her self-absorbed personality spilling into the corporate side, or the corporate ladder over at Disney. So, on top of this, alright, Goldberg was originally lined up to have 4 major roles at the Walt Disney Company, Beyond the View, that are now officially cancelled, and to top it all off, losing her $7 million pay raise as the talk show host on The View as ratings continue to fail. Goldberg was already engaged in heated arguments with the executives after they blamed her for the ratings disaster. So look, it's going to be interesting to see whether or not the ratings pick up for The View or for ABC as the months roll by. But so far, it has been very erratic. It has not been doing well at all. It's been going down and down, a couple of spikes here and there, but generally downward spiral as a whole. Now, Bob Iger, we know that this guy is going to scapegoat all he can when one division fails after the other. He will point the finger at somebody or something to kind of shift away from the fact that it was really all his fault at the end of the day. If Bob Iger wanted to clear things up right now, he could, trust me. If he really wanted to pull the trigger and say, let's cancel out these programs, let's do this or that, let's get the board to agree on something, he could make it happen if he really wanted to go, that way. It may take time if he wanted to go that way, but he could make it happen if he really wanted to, but he won't. So, at the end of the day as well, this is just another prime example of Disney in a very big, messy situation for the last few months of 2024. And like I said, as we inch closer toward 2025, it's a crucial year for the Walt Disney Company. They can't afford to have 3 consecutive failures, whether it's movies, TV shows, doesn't matter. They really can't afford that when it comes to how their image is displayed to the general public, alright? So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.